Welcome to Aligned Christ-Centered Yoga. My name is Linda and I will be guiding our practice today. Today is a strength training practice. I have been a personal trainer. I've lived in the gyms. I've been a gym assistant manager. I've taught group exercise. In the last 10 years, I've really gravitated towards yoga. So this will be a yoga class with a heavy dose of strength training. My question for you today is, what do you need strength for? Some of us need physical strength. I need physical strength. I'm also a youth ministry director, and so I'm always hanging out with teenagers, and I have retreats and lock-ins and things like that. And I teach yoga for you guys. Some of us need strength for our relationships. We need strength to stay in a marriage that is really, really difficult, or to hold on to relationships with our children. Some of us need strength to be vulnerable. It's very, very difficult for us to let go of the walls and the masks that we wear. So what is it that you need strength for today? As we move forward into this class, my goal is to challenge myself and you. Go to that place where you're a little shaky, and that's enough. That's enough. At that point, maybe go back into a child's pose. Maybe you're a lot stronger than I am, and you can just keep going when I call it quits. So let's just have fun with it, do what you can do, and let's see where it goes. Come to a sitting position on your mat, legs crossed comfortably in front of you, hips elevated on a block or a prop if you have one. You know, there are many times in Scripture that God promises to give us strength. But one of my favorites comes from the prophet Isaiah. And in chapter 40, he says, or God says through Isaiah, "Do you not know? Have you not heard? The Lord is the everlasting God, the creator of the ends of the earth. He will not grow tired or weary, and his understanding no one can fathom. He gives strength to the weary and increases the power of the weak." Closing your eyes, let the space around you fade away. Begin to connect to your breath, noticing the way the breath feels as you breathe in and the air flows down the body, as you breathe out and the air flows up. As we enter into this practice of strength today, notice particularly the stability and the strength that come from the exhale. Can you breathe a little more three-dimensionally? As you exhale, be really intentional about drawing the points of the hip in towards the spine, the tailbone in towards the spine, the navel in and up, shoulders stay heavy over the hips. Check in physically, acknowledging those places where you may not feel strong. Give yourself to modify along the way, to lighten the load, to change the pose. And notice where you feel very strong. Your body is very different than mine. Give yourself permission to modify and to make it harder if that's right for you. Our goal is to bring those muscles to the edge of fatigue. Remembering that in the same way that muscles build strength after they have been torn down, after they reach fatigue, in the same way, our own strength rises when we are pushed to our limits. On the next inhale, let those arms come up and overhead. On the next exhale, hands come down. And connect movement and breath. And 2 more times here, and find the pace that works with your breath. And as you're ready, bring your arms out to the side and exhale and interlace the fingers and bring the hands forward as you come into cat. And then press the palms out and raise the arms up. Shoulders come all the way up to the ears and then drop them down. And then exhale and twist towards the right. And interlace the fingers, hands awkward, the other hand on top. Palms to knee, reaching up, exhaling, twisting to the left. And so back and forth here, checking in, noticing where you might feel a little bit tight, a little stuck. How will that affect your practice today? Time you twist to the right, stay there. Create a little traction as the hand presses against the leg. Let the shoulder blades glide down the side of the body. Draw your chin back towards your shoulder. And as you're ready, one final time, come into that cat pose and press the palms out and rise up. And twist to the left. And same thing here. And begin to notice how breath helps you in that twist. Drawing in at the pelvic floor. Drawing in the core muscles of the abdominals and the back. And as you're ready, release. Come forward and bring any props that you have to the front edge of the mat. Spread fingers wide, knees underneath the hips. And from here, begin to find cat and cow. As you come into cat, look back towards your feet. Can you hide your feet behind your knees? Relaxing the feet so that they don't turn in or out. 2 more times here, cat to cow. Your breath, your pace. As you're ready, meet me back at table. Find a neutral position of the spine and find the strength here in table. So engage through the transverse abdominals, reaching from hip to hip. And as you find that strong core, take your hands, one hand point forward, and straighten out from the top of your head to the back of your knees. And find a strong kneeling plank and come down to the mat. Forearms to the mat. Inhale up into Sphinx pose and exhale out of it. And come in and out of this a few times, just warming up the muscles of the back now. And as you're ready, rise up and engage through the abdominals and press down with the forearms and the tops of your feet. Press the elbows towards the hips and the hips towards the elbows. And kind of collarbone rise a little bit more. And exhale and draw back into child. And come back and forth through this flow twice more. So kneeling plank to the mat, Sphinx to child, and one more time on your own. As you come back to child, stay in child for 2 breaths. Lengthen through the spine. Relax the head into the mat. And check in. Come forward into a forearm plank. So you have 2 options for the arms here. Elbows are directly underneath the shoulders. Maybe the hands reach forward, fingers to the front of the mat. Maybe the palms come in together and the hands are in prayer. So whatever you decide to do, go ahead and curl the toes underneath and come up into plank. And begin to gently just drop one knee down and lift it up, and then the other. Can you keep breathing as you use those core muscles to support you? Back and forth 2 more times each. And then as you're ready, come back into that plank. Begin to draw the hips back and walk the feet forward. So you're on your forearms and the top of your head is coming towards the mat. Maybe the fingers are interlaced and you're tucking that bottom pinky finger in and under. Begin to pedal through your feet and move your hips. And then inhaling, let the heels rise. Exhaling, let the heels come down. And find the strength in the shoulder girdle. Find a stretch in the legs. And can the rib cage come a little closer to the thighs and up. And then as you're ready, come back into that forearm plank and drop the knees down and meet me in child. Inhaling, rise up into table, curling the toes under, come into downward facing dog, knees bent, rib cage to thighs, and again, pedaling out the feet, moving the hips this time. On the next inhale, heels rise. And as you exhale, heels come down towards the mat. Reaching fingertips to one wall, heels to the other. The next breath in, raise that right leg up to the sky. Draw the gaze forward, the foot comes through the hands. Hands to either side of the foot. Begin to drop the back leg down and up, stretching through the psoas muscle and the hip. As you're ready, let that back knee come up and begin to straighten and bend the front leg. Find a hamstring stretch in that front leg. And then as you're ready, settle into the hamstring stretch. Perhaps drawing that back hip slightly forward, front hip crease reaching towards where the ceiling meets the sky. As you're ready, release. And come to your hands on either side of that foot and bring that heel up so that you're floating the knee. One more breath here and extend into plank. And from plank, come down to the mat in the count of 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Tops of the feet to the mat, meet me in low cobra. Exhaling, press through your hands, hips to heels, come to child. And from child, meet me in downward facing dog. This time it's the left leg that rises high. As the gaze comes forward, the foot floats in between the hands, and that back knee drops and lifts. Just gently tapping the knee down and lifting it up, just like you did in that forearm plank. Are the abdominals still engaged? And as you're ready, extending through that back leg, raise the thigh up towards the sky. Begin to straighten and bend the front leg. And use props if that's better for you. And as you're ready, extend that leg to find your stretch. So the head comes down, shake the head out, no, and yes. And breathe into it. 2 more breaths here. And lunge the knee over the ankle and hands to either side of the foot. Bring the heel to the hip and float the knee. And then bring the foot back to meet the other one and come down in the count of 8, 7, 6, 5. Elbows straight up to the ceiling. 4, 3, 2, 1. Tops of the feet to the mat. Find low cobra. Glide through child or go directly into downward facing dog. On the next inhale, right leg rises high. Gaze comes forward, foot comes through the hands. Come to the tips of your fingers. Engage the abdominals as you press that heel back behind you. Back is in neutral position, parallel to the floor. Bring the arms just in front of the ears, reaching for that wall in front of you, and rise up into your lunge. And exhale, bringing the hands to the leg and gently push the muscles of the leg towards the knee. Raise that back leg up just a little bit more. And then arms high, lunge 5 times. That leg drops down and comes up. And find your lunge again, hands to hips. Deep breath here. Exhale down, hands to either side of the mat. Bring the front foot to the back. Come all the way down to the mat. This time, find your forearm plank again. Go ahead and curl the toes underneath and decide, maybe you're still just bringing one knee down at a time, or maybe this time both knees tap down and come up. Can you draw the belly in a little more? Three more times. 3, 2, 1. Knees to the mat, hands to the mat, press back to child. Rise up and meet me in downward facing dog. And the next inhale, the left leg rises high. Gaze comes forward, foot comes all the way through. Come to your fingertips. Back is flat, abdominals engaged. Bring arms just in front of you. Rise up into your lunge. And find your strong lunge. Hands to leg, gently draw the muscles towards the knee. Raise the back thigh up. Arms high. 5 lunges. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. As you're ready, hands down to either side. Float the front foot to the back. Find plank and come down. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and down. If you have a prop, bring it in front of you. Palms to either side of the block. Bring your head down to the mat and extend your arms forward and your legs just a little bit wide. Pressing into your hands, press into your forearms and create a triangle underneath your arm here. Okay? So from here, keep the body on the mat, keep the back where it is, extend the arms forward, and simply lift the arms, nothing more. Hold it here for 4, 3, 2, 1. Gently bringing the block down, stack your forearms one on top of the other, turn your cheek to one side, wiggle your hips. So twice more. Arms forward, pressing down into the forearms. Engage the muscles of the leg, engage the abdominals. Press into the forearms so the rib cage draws forward and up. Stay here with the body, only the arms. Reach forward and up. Hold and breathe. You can do this. Feel the work across the upper back and the shoulders. 3, 2, 1, and release. Nice job. One arm on top of the other, turn your cheek, wiggle your hips. One more time. You got this. Hands softly on the block, pressing down with the forearms, create that triangle. Shoot those arms forward, lift them up to your ears, stay here for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. One arm on top of the other, turn your cheek to the other side, wiggle your hips. As you're ready, hands underneath the shoulders, meet me in table for a breath. Let that spine return to neutral. And then engaging the abdominals, meet me in downward facing dog. On the next inhale, right leg lifts to the sky. Gaze comes forward, foot comes all the way through. Reach for that block in front of you. And bring your hands lightly to either side of the prop. Stay here. Bring the arms up so that your arms are at either side of your ears and rise high. Arms overhead, lightly holding onto the block. Lunge down. And then as you rise, bring the hands across the body and come up. Lunge down with the knee, arms come down. Arms rise as you lunge. Cross the body as you rise up. 2 more times. As you're ready, find the strong lunge. Bring the block down. Hands to either side of the mat. Bring the foot to the hip, float the knee, and bring the knee back. Slowly come all the way down to the mat. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stack your forearms in the front of the mat, one in front of the other. Go ahead and come onto a kneeling plank. And then just bring that front elbow up to the sky and back down. 7 more here. Lifting and coming down. Can you start from the abdominals? So rather than leading from the elbow or the feet, use those abs. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Remember which side you are twisting to. I don't think you'll forget. Hands underneath the shoulders, find neutral position of the spine. Curl the toes back, meet me in downward facing dog. Find your breath and take 3 deep breaths here, slowing your heart rate down. On the next inhale, left leg rises high. Gaze comes forward, foot comes all the way through. Find that block in front of you. Make it wide. Hands to either side of the block. Bring the arms just in front of the ears. Upper body rises, find your lunge. Back leg drops down. As it rises, arms come over to the front side. So find your balance. Find your breath. Having a lot more trouble on this side than I did on the other side. 2 more times. Go back to your lunge. Bring that block down, hands to either side of the foot. Float the knee. Come back to plank. 8, 7, use all the counts. You're halfway down. 4, 3, 2, 1. Stack your forearms. Other arm is in front. Come up onto your toes, forearm plank, front elbow rises, and comes back down. So, again, modify. We're working our obliques here. Maybe there's another way for you to do it if this is too hard on your shoulder. Four more. 4, 3, 2, 1. Knees come down, hands underneath the shoulders. Draw back to child for 1 breath. Lengthen through the spine. Meet me in downward facing dog. Right leg lifts high. Gaze comes forward, foot comes all the way through. Rise up into your lunge. So from here, hands drop down to the side. Come into warrior 3, anchor through the abdominals. Body comes parallel to the floor, leg rises up. Hands to hips, come back to your lunge. Arms rise up. Find a back bend. Hands to the side, warrior 3. Hands to hips, back to lunge. Arms rise, find your back bend. This time, hands to the side, warrior 3. Knee comes up and through. Arms rise overhead. Hands to hips, back to lunge. 1 more time, but we're going to add on. Hands to the side, warrior 3. Rise up, knee comes up and through. Stay here, press down through that left foot, through that right foot, sorry. Imagine the left foot pressing down as well. Arms out to the side. Pivot to the inside of that left leg. Bring that right arm across. Maybe extend that left leg. And release, knee up. Find your mountain pose. Hands to heart, take a breath. Deep breath in, mountain pose. Exhaling, forward fold. First forward fold of the day. Bend your knees deeply. Shake your head out now and yes. Walk or hop your legs back to the back of the mat. And come down 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Find your back bend. And meet me in downward facing dog. Find your breath. On the next inhale, left leg rises high. Gaze comes forward, foot comes all the way through. Rise up into your lunge. Hands down to your side, lift that back leg up, find warrior 3. Hands to hips, come back to the lunge. Arms rise, sink into the lunge. Arms come down, warrior 3. Again, find your lunge. This time, come into warrior 3. And then come up through mountain, that back leg rising, knee up. Hands to hip. Find your lunge. One more time, hands to the side. Find that warrior 3. As the arms rise, the knee comes through. Stay here. Hands out to the side. Twist. Left arm comes across that right leg. Maybe that leg extends. Hold for 4, 3, 2, 1. And release, meet me in mountain pose, hands in prayer. Closing your eyes if you have the balance, check in. One more breath, slowing your heart rate down. Taking a deep breath in, arms rise, exhale, forward fold. Hands to shins, rise your back up halfway. Exhale down, find your plank. Stay in your plank. And come down in 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Roll over so that you are facing me. Okay. Go ahead and come all the way down onto your side. Bring your top arm behind your shoulder or your head. Bend your knees. Take that front arm, tricep press, push up. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release. Roll over. Knees are bent. Again, that top arm comes behind your head. Front arm is directly in front of your chest. Fingertips are facing forward. Tricep press. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, towards me again. Bending the knees. This time, stay on your forearm, elbow directly underneath the shoulder. Go ahead and take that right hand to your hip and lift up and down. So we're now working through the oblique muscles, the internal oblique, say that fast. And your option is your straight leg lift. So 8 of them. 4 more. 3, how you doing? Are you breathing? 1 more. And release. Same thing on the other hand, other side. So you know where your body is. Maybe you are bent leg all the way through. Maybe you are straight leg. I don't know, maybe some of you can even lift your top leg up. Keep it here. 4 more. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Roll back to center, hands to rib cage. Come back through table to child. 2 breaths in child. And that next inhale, curl the toes under. Meet me in downward facing dog. Stay here for 2 breaths. Right leg rises up. Gaze comes forward, foot comes forward. Find your lunge. If you can, hold on to the block as you rise. We're going to repeat that last sequence. We're going to add holding on to the block. So as you come into warrior 3, arms come forward, leg comes up. Leg comes back to lunge. Again. One more time. This time the knee comes through. The arms rise up. The leg goes back to lunge. Last time we're going to add that twist. Arms come forward, legs reach back. Come up into mountain. Leg comes up. Bring that block across the side. Extend the leg. Maybe that back arm reaches behind you. If you want the extra balance challenge, the gaze switches as well. And release, and maybe you have it and maybe you don't. And tomorrow is another day. Deep breath in, forward fold. Keep that block accessible. Meet me in plank. From here, 4 push-ups. 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly come down to the mat. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I might have cheated that last one. Meet me in downward facing dog, coming through table. And stay here for 1 more breath. Same thing on the other side. Left leg rises high. Gaze comes forward, foot comes through. Hold on to that block if you've got it in you. Otherwise, find the modifications you need. And as you're ready, warrior 3 to lunge. Warrior 3 to lunge. Again, warrior 3. Bring the knee up. Back to lunge. Warrior 3, this is the final time. Knee up. Anchor through the abdominals, bring the arms across. Find the traction and the focal point, extend the leg. Maybe the back arm goes behind you. Maybe you find a new focal point behind you. And as you're ready, release and shake it all out. Block down, deep breath in, mountain pose. Hands to heart. So one more for the legs. Bring the hands down and find chair pose. So chair is challenging us a little bit differently here. It's working more of the muscles in the front of the body, the anterior tibialis, the quadriceps. So you're going to press through your right leg and bring your left knee up to your chest and come down into your squat. And rise up. And the right knee comes into your chest. And find your chair pose. Left knee rises. Chair. Right knee rises. Chair. One more each. Find your chair and stay there. Stay there, press into the right foot and just barely lift the left foot up. Hold for 4, 3, 2, 1. Step into the left foot, hold the right foot up. 4, 3, 2, 1. One more time, maintain the integrity of the pose. The only thing lifting is that left foot. 3, 2, 1, and the other. 4, 3, 2, 1. Pressing the feet down, rise up into mountain. Exhale, forward fold. Hands to shins, come up halfway. Exhale down, find your plank. Stay in your plank for 3 breaths. Strongest plank you can find. And come down in 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come through table to child, back and forth here a couple of times. And as you're ready, come back to child and stay there. And find your breath. And check in. And notice the way that your body feels. Maybe a little shaky. Maybe the heart is still pounding a little bit. Can you relax and slow it down with breath? Ready, press into your hands and rise up. Fingertips behind you. Press into the hands, fingertips facing towards the hips. Find your sitting bones and your tailbone comes somewhere in between and lift your legs. Extend and draw the body into the legs. Back and forth here. And some of you can do this unsupported. Right. And then bring the knees over to the right and over to the left and back and forth here. Support as needed, but try not to use the arms. Use the abdominals. and release. Hands underneath the legs, tucking your chin, find cat. Inhaling, find cow. Back and forth here 2 more times. And then as you're ready, hands underneath your legs, bring your knees, your back down to the mat and keep the knees bent. And then get rid of any hair pieces or anything in the way. Go ahead and bring the feet up to the sky, hands to the sky. Go ahead and just leave the head down. Crunch and bring feet and hands up and release. Do that 3 more times. And just really memorize what this feels like as you draw the body in and the legs and arms rise. Stay contracted. Right arm comes back, left arm comes back, and begin to find a scissor here. So the head is down, right? And you're keeping tension in the abdominals, and the shoulder blades remain in place. So all the work is in the stabilizing muscles of the abdominal wall and the back. 1 more time each way, and release. Palms up, tuck your chin. Now you have the crunch. Pulse here for 4, 3, 2, 1. Pulse up, hands together. Try to reach the outside of one foot. 4, 3, 2, switch sides. Working those obliques. 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring the head down, the hands behind you. Keeping the hands behind you, take the feet down. Keep the work in the abdominals. Don't let it come into those hip flexors. So you decide how far that is. Crunch all the way up towards your toes and release. Keep it in the abs. Up. 2 more times. So again, modify, modify, modify. Maybe your knees are bent, right? Maybe you can bring your feet almost to the floor and still keep it in the abdominals and not let it switch to the hip flexors. And release, bend your legs, hands behind you. Extend the legs long. So now I'm reaching my fingertips to one wall, my toes to the other as long as I can. Hands out to the side, bend the knees. Go ahead and bring the shins parallel to the floor, come down to the right 2/3 of the way, up and over, 2/3 of the way to the left, back and forth here. One more time each way. Come all the way over to the right. Bring your left foot on top of your right knee straight to ceiling. Hands behind your head. So interlacing the fingers, support the back of the head, tuck the chin slightly, and crunch straight up to the ceiling so that you're feeling this in the oblique muscles. So rather than twisting the upper body, we have twisted the lower body to find that oblique work. 4 more here. 4, 3, 2, 1. Hands out to the side, knees up. Come to the other side. Okay, so now my right foot is on top of my left. Again, hands lightly behind the head. Tucking the chin just a little bit so I have length in the neck. Crunch 8, 7, 6. Can you keep the elbows back? 4, 3, 2, Come back to center. This time give yourself a hug and rock side to side. Hands to knees, just circle the knees on the ceiling, massaging out your lower back. Go the other direction. And as you're ready, knees come into the rib cage and away, just recreating that neutral position of the spine, the natural arch of the lower back. So as you're ready, one foot down and then the other. Extend the legs long, fingers to one wall, toes to the other. Stretch. And then bring the hands up to the ceiling, reach as high as you can and just thump those shoulders down. 2 more times here. Let the hands come down to the hips. Gently turn your head side to side. Settle at center. Wiggle the hips side to side. Settle. And windshield wiper the feet opposing each other, in and out, in and out. And turn the palms up, finding Shavasana. So just standing on this promise of God today, that when we are beyond exhausted, when weariness sets in, His strength rises within us and gives us the ability to power through. Remembering that often strength comes with surrender. Strength comes with trust. Gently bring yourself back to this time and this place. Reconnecting with your breath, noticing the way that your body is connected to the mat. Slowly and gently begin to bring movement back. So wiggle fingers and toes, rotate wrists and ankles. Turn your head side to side from the top of one ear up and over to the top of the other. The next inhale, arms rise up and overhead and just reach and stretch as long as you can. Right fingertips, left toes, left fingertips, right toes. And draw your knees in and gently roll over onto your side. And stay there. Support your head with your arm. Find full, deep breaths. On that next inhale, come up to sitting. Find your sitting bones again. Settle in. Eyes still closed. Check in, body, mind, and soul. What has shifted and changed over the past hour? What has stayed the same? Breathing in, arms rise overhead, palms together, exhaling, hands come to heart, bowing your head. Holy God, you know what we need before we ourselves know that we need it. We thank you for the flow of strength that comes through you, through our trials, through our troubles, through our physical challenges, in our relationships, in our emotional needs. We thank you, Lord, that we are enough and that we can trust that, and that it is your peace and your strength that propels us through each day. It is in the name of Jesus the Christ that we pray. Amen. Thank you for sharing your practice with me today.